You ever had one of those days? You walk through the door, kick off your boots, and finally hit the recliner. What's the first thing you do? You let out that long, heavy phew, right? It's the sound of the world's weight leaving your shoulders. Well, turns out your dog is just as dramatic as you are. If you're a pet guardian, especially to one of the big guys, our Great Danes, our Labs, our Bernese Mountain Dogs, you know the sigh. It's that deep, vibrating exhale that sounds like they just finished a double shift at the factory when all they actually did was sleep in a sunbeam. Today we're breaking down the first big reason for that sound, the happy flop. It's the difference between a dog just sitting and a dog truly settling. So, grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about what's actually happening in those 70 pounds/32 kilograms of fur and muscle. First off, let's talk basic mechanics. I call this the physical release. You see, when a large breed dog decides to lay down, it isn't always a graceful feline descent. It's an event. It's a 90 pounds/41 kilograms collapse onto the rug. According to experts like Dr. Samantha Palermo, and just basic physics, the act of flopping actually forces the air out. Think of your dog's chest cavity like a big bellows. When they hit the floor, the impact and the shift in their internal organs literally push that air out through the nose or mouth. It's a mechanical exhale. Biologically, this is great. It's a quick exchange. They're dumping carbon dioxide and prepping for a lower heart rate. If your dog flops, sighs once, and then starts breathing at a steady 15 to 30 breaths per minute, that's just the machine powering down. It's the engine off click of a big diesel truck. But it's not just physics. It's emotional. Think about the pub we're in right now. You've been on your feet, dealing with the boss, dealing with traffic in New York or Toronto, and you finally slide into this booth. That first exhale? That's your nervous system switching from go to relax. For our dogs, especially the seniors, the world is a lot to take in. They're the guardians of the house. They're tracking every squirrel, every Amazon delivery, every movement you make. When they sigh as they settle, they are communicating contentment. It's a signal to the rest of the pack. That's you, that the environment is safe. They aren't on guard anymore. They've reached what we call the settlement. They aren't just laying down because they're tired. They're laying down because they are satisfied. Now, how do you know for sure it's a happy sigh, and not a something's wrong sigh? You've got to look at the context clues. In the pub, if I'm sighing but my shoulders are up to my ears, I'm stressed. If I'm slumped back with a smile, I'm good. Same for your dog. Look at the face. Are the eyes half closed? We call that sleepy eyes. Are the ears neutral, not pinned back, not alert and pointing at the door, just floppy? Is the body soft? If they look like a puddle of fur on the floor, that sigh is 100% pure joy. This is where you, as a guardian, become the expert. You learn the vibe of the exhale. A happy sigh is usually long and low. It sounds like a hua. It's the sound of a dog who knows he's loved. Here is my expert tip for the day. If you've got a senior giant, maybe a lab or a shepherd who's hitting those double digits, pay extra attention to that happy flop. If your large breed dog, with all his 15 years or his 80 pounds/36 kilograms, finds that perfect spot on the orthopedic bed, flops down, and lets out that big vibrating sigh, take a second to appreciate it. He's likely just telling you that life is good in those old bones. He's safe, he's home, and you're doing a great job. Okay, let's talk about the teenager phase of dog sighs. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're sitting on the sofa, finally catching the game or answering an email, and suddenly, sigh. It's loud. It's heavy. It's directed right at the back of your head. It sounds like they've been waiting for a bus in the rain for 3 hours. This isn't the happy flop we talked about in Chapter 1. No, this is the dramatic notice me. Your dog isn't relaxing, they're performing. And honestly, they're better at it than most Hollywood actors. See, dogs are masters of social manipulation. Especially the big breeds, they take up so much physical space that when we ignore them for more than 20 minutes they feel, well, invisible. I call it the invisible dog syndrome. Think about it. In a dog's mind, you are the source of everything good. Food, walks, and belly rubs. If you're staring at that glowing rectangle in your hand, yeah, your phone, you aren't staring at them. The sigh is their way of saying, excuse me, I believe I was scheduled for a 4 p.m. ear scratch, and it is currently 4:02 p.m. It's actually a very polite way of communicating. They could bark. They could chew your expensive leather shoes, which, trust me, a 100 pounds/45 kilograms Great Dane can do in about 6 seconds. But instead they choose the sigh. It's passive-aggressive, sure, but it's efficient. Then there's pure, unadulterated boredom. Imagine being a high-energy lab or a shepherd stuck in a suburban house while the rain pours down outside. That's a lot of power under the hood with nowhere to go. When a dog sighs out of boredom, it's a release of pent-up energy. They've checked every corner of the room. They've sniffed the same spot on the rug 10 times. There is nothing left to do but breathe heavily and hope you notice their suffering. For our North American guardians, especially in the winter months in places like Chicago or Toronto, this is huge. If your dog is letting out these boredom bombs, they're asking for a job. Their brain is firing but the environment is flat. They aren't just tired, they're tired of doing nothing. So what do? We don't just sigh back, though I've tried that and they just look at you like you're crazy. We use the playbook. If the notice me sigh starts, give them a task. Don't just pet them immediately, that actually rewards the complaining. Instead, ask for a sit or a stay first. Make them earn that attention. Or better yet, break the boredom with a mental puzzle. For my large breed owners, grab a toy and stuff it with 2 tablespoons/30 milliliters of peanut butter. Freeze it. That sigh will turn into silence for the next 30 minutes. You're giving that big brain a workout. You're moving them from drama to discovery. Here's the takeaway: a dramatic sigh is a compliment. It means your dog values your attention more than anything else in the world. They're guilt-tripping you because you're their favorite person. Not a bad problem to have, right? Just remember, distinguish the I'm happy sigh from the I'm bored sigh by looking at those eyes. If they're wide open and staring at you while they sigh, you're being played, my friend. Alright, let's lean in for a second. We've had a few laughs about the happy flop and the drama queen sighs. But as pet guardians, we have a job that isn't always about belly rubs and beer. We're the front line of their health. Sometimes a sigh isn't an exhale of relief. It's a leak in the system. It's a signal that something is hurting or that the check engine light is blinking. Especially for our large breeds and our senior cats, knowing the difference between a satisfied huff and a medical red flag is what keeps them by our side for those 15+ years. Let's talk about the sighs you can't ignore. First, let's talk about the mind. Dogs don't just sigh when they're bored, they sigh when they're overwhelmed. Think about the last time you were at the vet's office or in a crowded park in downtown Chicago. If your dog lets out a heavy sigh there, they aren't relaxing. This is a stress release. Their nervous system is redlining. Look for the companion signs. Are they pacing? Trembling? Is their tail tucked like they're trying to hide it? If you see a sigh paired with hypervigilance, where they're staring at nothing but look tense, they're telling you, I'm not okay with this environment. Now let's get into the bones. We love our large breeds, the labs, the shepherds, the danes, but their joints take a beating. A 90 pounds/41 kilograms dog carries a lot of weight on those hips. If you notice your dog sighing repeatedly while they're already laying down, or especially when you're cuddling them, pay attention. They might be saying that's enough, or that hurts in the most polite way they know. If they wince when touched or seem restless, that sigh is actually a groan of pain. And for our senior cats, those 15 to 17-year-old legends, they are the masters of hiding pain. If they start making sigh-like sounds or huffing while trying to get comfortable, don't just call it old age. Could be arthritis or something internal. In our world, silence isn't always golden. Sometimes it's just stoicism. Here's where we get technical. A healthy dog breathes between 15 to 30 breaths per minute at rest. Anything outside that, we need to talk. A sigh is a one-off. But if that sighing starts sounding like something else, here is your guardian checklist. 1. Labored breathing, if it looks like they're working to get air in and out. 2. Wheezing, a high-pitched whistle. That's a blocked airway, folks. Not a sigh. 3. Excessive panting. If it's 65 degrees Fahrenheit 18 degrees Celsius in your house and your dog is panting like they just ran a marathon, that's a red alert for heart issues or heat exhaustion. If your dog is sighing and then starts vomiting or acting lethargic, get to the vet. Don't finish your drink. Go. Especially with large breeds, we worry about things like GDV, bloat. A sigh can be the first sign of abdominal discomfort. I know. I brought the mood down a bit. But look, being a pet guardian means being their voice. Most sighs are just, I love my life, or, I want your steak. But 10% of the time, they're a request for help. Trust your gut. You know your dog better than any scientist or vet. If the sigh feels off, it probably is. We want our big guys and our senior felines to reach those milestone ages feeling good, not just getting by. Check out the full breakdown and our safety checklists over at forpetguardians.com. Thanks for hanging out at the pub with me for this series. Keep those seniors comfortable and those large breeds active. Cheers to you and cheers to them.